Jesus on a bike.
Christ on a bike.
Jesus Christ on a bike.
On a bike.
Christ on a bike.
Christ on a bike.
Christ on a bike.
Hey mortals, it's me, your favorite Lord and Savior, Jesus. And I'm back with something a little bit different today. As you know, I like to get around from point A to point B in the holiest way possible. And that's usually on my cross skateboard. But, I'll be honest with you. I've been getting a little bored lately. And I've been looking for something new, something fun, something exciting. And I found it. Yeah, so today I'm doing a product review, okay? Full disclosure, okay? I really, really wanted an e-bike for myself, to just get around town on, explore, have fun. When Eahora offered to send me a bike in exchange for a review, an honest review, I jumped at that chance because this was a really cool product. And I'm telling you, I wouldn't even dream of reviewing or recommending a product that I myself wasn't really excited about and didn't absolutely love. So here we are. I'm going to be talking about the Eahora Romeo II all-wheel drive electric bike. And let me tell you, spoiler alert, this thing blew my sandals off. Yeah, it's pretty freaking awesome. You'll find chapter markers for all the important information about this bike, so you can just skip to right what you want to hear. I'm going to talk about performance, top speed, acceleration, battery, the range, comfort, safety features, the brakes, stability, control, and much more. And if you stick around to the end, I'll have a link for you where you can get the best deal on this bike, and you'll also help me out. So here we go. All right, I'm excited to tell you about this bike. I'm going to be talking about the Eahora Romeo II. It's a dual drive, all-terrain, dual suspension, extra fat tire e-bike that boasts an impressive range of over 100 miles and a top speed of 40 miles per hour. Two 1,250 watt motors giving us 200 newtons of torque. It's an extremely capable bike that is fully capable of handling any terrain you're going to throw at it. It has a battery capacity of 3,120 watt hours, which is a 52 volt, 60 amp hour system. The charger is 7 amp charger at 58.8 volts. So you can get this thing from empty to full in about 7 hours. It has a programmable color display that's very nice and bright. High carbon steel frame, very strong. This thing will last. It has two 20-inch by 5-inch tires with extra heavy-duty wheels and spokes. 4-piston hydraulic disc brakes with 180 millimeter rotors. And these aren't just your standard 2 millimeter thick rotors. These ones are 3 millimeters. So that's nice, extra upgrade there. It has a dual crown adjustable air suspension fork in the front and a coil air shock in the back, and a nice and comfortable memory foam saddle. It's got 2,000 lumen 20 watt LED headlight with a working brake light in the back and a horn that's fairly loud. It has adjustable handlebars with a full turn grip throttle. It has front and rear fenders to keep you nice and dry in the rain. And it has a Shimano 7-speed cassette and derailleur with a 44-tooth chainring up in the front. And it also has cruise control and walk assist mode. And you can get an optional rear rack for the back. This thing is awesome. I'm going to tell you right now, I've had a lot of fun on this thing. I've managed to put about 500 miles on it so far. And they have been 500 very fun and exciting miles. Half off-road, half on-road, all different terrains, you name it. So buckle up and enjoy. Okay, let's talk about performance. Now, one of the defining features of this bike is that it's a dual drive system. That means it's all-wheel drive. Both of those wheels are working. And you can actually set it to front-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, or all-wheel drive. You don't have to just always be in all-wheel drive mode. Now, this is exciting. This makes this bike a lot more fun and safe to ride in certain conditions like off-road, gravel, loose dirt, in the snow, you name it, in the sand. Having all-wheel drive gives you more traction and more control and more power. And it's been extremely fun taking this bike off-road up into the mountains. And I let me tell you, it can climb. It can take any hill that you're basically going to be able to ride. I took it up a grade that's about 30 degrees. I went an elevation of about 1,000 feet in less than a mile and a half on this bike with no problems. It can handle just about anything that you're going to want to be able to ride on, you know. So it's really a capable bike and a comfortable bike. The motors are capable of giving you all the power you need whenever you need it. And they're surprisingly quiet. It's been a pleasure riding this bike around and being able to enjoy a nature around me and not, you know, have it too loud, you know, like a gas-powered bike. It's been really fun enjoying how quiet this bike is. Top speed and acceleration. Now, this bike is capable of going more or less about 40 miles per hour on a full charge. Now, this is going to depend on your weight and the conditions. You know, a lot of factors come into play when it comes to top speed. Hills, road conditions, wind, and even temperature all play a factor in the performance of an electric bike. Now, with all that said, I weigh about 180 pounds, a little under 80 kilograms, and on a full charge, this bike can hit 40 miles per hour. No problem. I think the speedometer reads out about 42 or 44 miles per hour tops, but I think that's not exactly accurate. According to GPS, it's just a couple miles off the speedometer, but it does seem to hit 40 miles per hour just fine, which is honestly more than I really want to go most of the time anyways. I'm not really wanting extra speed, to be honest. I think it performs just fine how it is. Now, the acceleration is plenty also. This thing rips off the line very quick. You can get up to full speed in about 12 seconds or so, depending again on your rider weight, which again is more than enough. It's a lot of fun to ride, and it's definitely going to provide a lot of excitement for you, and it has for me. By default, it will come in a Class 2 mode, which will top out about 25 miles per hour, but you just go into the menu and you can change that setting, and you can make it a Class 3, which will go up to 28 miles per hour, or you can unlock it completely and take it all the way up to 40 miles per hour. So it doesn't matter where you live or what the rules are in your local area. You can set this bike to the laws of wherever you're living. You can make sure it's either a Class 1 or a Class 2 or a Class 3, or if you're going to ride it off-road, or on private property, you can, unlock it completely, like I have. The battery. Now, the battery is one of the most important parts of the e-bike. I mean, e-bike really comes down to a bike frame, a motor, a battery, and a controller. And the battery is basically your gas tank. It's responsible for how much range you're going to have, but also your top speed. This is a 52-volt system, and the more volts you have, the faster you're going to be able to run your motors. Now, this battery is huge. This is honestly probably one of the largest replaceable batteries on any e-bike anywhere. It's massive, 60 amp hours. This battery really will give you enough range to go just about anywhere you want. I love how unrestricted I feel having this battery. I have zero range anxiety. When I was riding my cross around town, I can only go, 10 miles or so before I got to charge it back up again. And that's not very far at all. You can't really get to too many places if you're always having to charge it. Well, that's not a problem with this bike. I'm able to go anywhere I want, pretty much anytime I want, without any restrictions. And I absolutely love that. Now, this battery, it's 3,120 watt hours. It's a 52 volt, 60 amp hour battery. Which means it's going to get you on average. I mean, again, there's so many factors that come into play with range. What temperature is it outside? How fast are you going? Is there wind? Is there hills? What are the road conditions like? What's your tire pressure like? All of these things will impact your battery life. But just giving you a baseline average based on my weight, I'm able to get 75, 80 miles on this battery, no matter what speed I'm going, no matter what the conditions are. I know that I'm going to be able to get at least 70 to 80 miles riding as fast as I want, going up as many hills as I want, and all that. Now, I know I can get more if I were to go slower, or if I were to take less hills, or if the temperature was more temperate, because all those things will have an impact on your battery life. Now, with that said, this battery weighs about 30 pounds. It's pretty hefty, but it is absolutely worth the weight. I mean, you're getting where you want to go, after all. And you're getting there in style, too. This thing is awesome. Comfort. This one's important. I mean, you want to enjoy the ride. Am I right? And if you're not comfortable, then you're not going to have a good time. Well, I'm here to tell you that this is an extremely comfortable bike to ride for many reasons. First, it's got a really, really comfortable memory foam saddle with, I'm not sure if this is real or fake leather, but it does the job, and I like it. I've spent, a whole day riding this bike, and at the end of the day, I felt fine. It was nice and comfortable, and it's not, being on a bike for more than an hour is usually not a very good experience for most people. But I can say I've spent, over 2 hours riding this bike, and was totally fine after those 2 hours. Could have gone even longer. So I can comfortably say that, you're going to be able to ride any distance comfortably. It also has a full suspension system, which, takes out all the bumps out of the road. These extra wide, extra thick tires also do a lot to really eliminate all those little bumps in the road. It's got a nice set of adjustable handlebars. I really like the feel of sitting on this bike, the position. It really feels like you're riding a street bike, a fast motorcycle. I like the kind of the forward, more aggressive riding position that you take on this bike. Of course, it is adjustable. You can, move these handlebars a little forward, a little back, to accommodate. I'm 6'1", and this bike fits me great. Brakes. Very, very important. One of the most important features on a bicycle. And I can put your mind at ease and tell you that these brakes are awesome. They are very capable. We have dual 4-piston hydraulic brakes with electric cutoffs, motor cutoffs on the brake levers. They boast 180 millimeter rotors with 3 millimeter thickness. Now, normally a bike like this will have rotors that are about 2 millimeters thick, but these are an extra millimeter, 50% thicker, which gives you a lot more rigidity and heat dispersion. You can go down hills and just really ride those brakes for a lot longer than you would normally. And they're very serviceable. These brakes are very easy to change out the pads, the rotors yourself, no problem. Eahora offers replacement parts on their website. You can change them out yourself. So they're really good brakes. I've tested them myself. They have extremely good stopping power. I'm very happy with these brakes. You definitely want to have good brakes on a bike because this is a heavy bike. It's a lot heavier than a standard e-bike, so you need stronger brakes. You want to have brakes that can handle the high speeds that this bike can take, and you want to also be able to know that you're going to be able to get a lot of miles on those brakes, and you're definitely going to get that with these. You can have full confidence with these brakes. Let's talk about stability, control, and safety features. One of the most important things about this bike is that it is full suspension, which is very important. A lot of people don't realize how important suspension is to your safety, not just comfort. Most people feel it just makes the ride more comfortable by eliminating the bumps, but by having a full suspension system, you're ensuring that you are keeping traction on the road, that your wheels are touching the road at all times. Because if you don't and you're bouncing, then you don't have traction, and which means you don't have control. So having full suspension is very, very important to me, but it's not just that. These extra wide tires give you a much wider, larger contact patch to the ground. These extra beefy brakes with large rotors and 4-piston hydraulics are more than capable of managing the power and the weight of this bike. This bike really does feel more like a motorcycle than it does a traditional e-bicycle. And I love that. That's actually one of my favorite features about this bike. I feel safer riding it when I have something that is just heavier. It has more power, and it can deliver that power when I need it. Whether it's stopping power or it's acceleration, both are equally important. I feel that this bike is extremely durable. The frame is very, very durable and is definitely going to last. And every component, the wheels, the spokes, the cranks, everything on this is a little extra heavy duty. It's a little more beefier so that it can handle the rigors of the road. I'm fully confident that this bike will last. I mean, I've already put 500 miles on it so far, and it's holding up great. It's doing well. But I'm also confident that this bike is very serviceable. It's not everybody works on bikes or knows how to work on a bike, but this bike doesn't require any more knowledge or maintenance than a traditional e-bike would, but definitely knowing how to service it will make it last longer. Knowing how to lubricate it and keep an eye on things. It's the great thing is every single component on this bike is serviceable and replaceable by you, the end user. So you can have confidence that this will be a purchase that will last. I want to talk about these 20-inch wheels. Now, I think this is a unique thing and one of the features that I liked most about the Romeo II. I live in an apartment building with an elevator, and I wanted to make sure that I can get up and down this elevator, in and out easily. And having the smaller 20-inch wheels gives this bike a much smaller footprint and makes it a lot easier to get in and out of an elevator. Also, having a 20-inch wheel as opposed to a 26-inch wheel means that you get more torque. A smaller wheel is better in the long run when you want to accelerate faster or get up a hill. That extra bit of torque, I think, really comes into play. I was able to assemble the bike, put it together completely with the tools provided in less than 1 hour. This bike in general has a lot of upgradability and serviceability, which I think is very important. If I had just one thing I could say about this bike that I wish was different, is that I wish it included a rear view mirror. That's it. It didn't include one, so I added one myself, and you too can just order one on Amazon for 20 bucks. But I highly recommend you add a rear view mirror. Be sure to check out the link down in the description to get the best deal on this bike. And by purchasing through this link, you'll be helping me directly. Praise be. To be honest, I was actually surprised they were willing to do this because, I haven't uploaded to my channel in over a year. My channel is essentially dead and in need of a resurrection. So I'm really grateful to Eahora for giving me this opportunity and this totally awesome e-bike. Thanks, guys.